Coming up next on the spot, we got 2 PS3 demos with SOCOM 4 and the Steel Rain DLC for Killzone 3. Next, we check in on the latest news for SSX and get a wrap-up from all the Capcom action from Captivate 2011. Twisted Metal fans get an update from Sony Gamers Week, and we continue with round 2 of Super Button Mashing Memory Leak. Aaron Sampson gets you caught up with this week's digital releases. Finally, we give you a quick taste of GameSpot Sync with Jody Robinson. We're live and on the spot.
Welcome back to another live presentation of On the Spot, everybody. I am Sean McInnes. This here is Chris Waters, and I know what you're thinking, Sean. You shouldn't be talking right now because you are in the co-host chair. The big boy sits in this chair, which is frankly A, insulting, and B, just wrong. Because Chris is actually going to be doing our first demo of the show. We're having a look at a bunch of really cool games today, and we're giving away some cool prizes later on. But Chris is starting us off with a demo of SOCOM 4. Chris?
Yeah, it's happening right now. I'm doing this.
All right, so
I'm shooting. Well,
you're taking cover right now.
Yeah,
all right,
I'm hiding behind cover.
So give us the skinny on SOCOM 4. What's going on here? What's new in the world of U.S. Navy SEALs?
Okay, so I'm here with my 2 squads. I got the yellow squad. This is my Korean NATO allies. And then I got the blue squad there over here. They're my Marines. And I have ordered them behind these cover positions because we're going to try to take out some of these snipers that are up here. We're infiltrating a shipyard.
A shipyard, okay.
Yeah, so this whole thing goes down in Southeast Asia. Oh, let's see. Yeah, nice. Where a militant sort of, rebel type dude, revolutionary, if you will.
Yeah, I think you had it with militant rebel type dude. That was good.
He wants to, his scheme, and this is a new one for all you aspiring militants out there, bomb the Strait of Malacca, which is, a vital shipping way. And that's the plot. You go in there as these Marines to try to mess him up and thwart his plans. And so, as you can see, I'm playing as this sort of commander dude. I'm running ahead of my teammates. This can be dangerous. And they're sort of backing me up with fire. You can, in addition to shooting your way through here, you are in control of your squads. So you can sort of order them here and there to set up ambushes, you can direct their fire. Like, all right, I'm taking a lot of heat. I want my blue team to take out that guy. They totally did.
One thing I forgot to mention, Chris, I apologize for interrupting you here, is that we are actually taking your questions live over Twitter right now. So direct us a question to the official GameSpot account, which is simply enough just at GameSpot, and we will answer some questions during this demo.
We also got the chat room open too, right?
We've also got the chat room open.
Yeah, so if you're on there, throw your questions out there for SOCOM.
Yeah, big shout out to our friend Cell Dweller, Sid Byrne, the usual gang.
Yeah, so this is a single player campaign. It's a couple missions in. I'm pretty sure that we're clear of enemies here, so we're going to advance. This is a shipyard. I'm trying to blow up a ship they've got. The campaign's pretty lengthy. This is one, but it sort of takes place with, you get 2 different gameplay types. So one of them is playing as this guy, the operations commander, and he, he's a tough dude, and he has his squad command going. That smoke means there's probably some bad guys going to come around this corner here. I'm just going to chill. The other is playing as 45, this Korean lady who you see right up next to me here. She's the stealth operative, so whenever you need to do something stealthy, yeah, explosions.
Big old hex.
Right, I remember this part. There's a boat shooting at me, and it's not pretty. They're stealth missions, so you sort of it alternates. So the mission just previous to this, oh god. Yeah, you can see it, the boat is shooting at me. I infiltrated this shipyard and sort of disabled some of that ship's capabilities. Obviously, I did not disable its large cannon.
Right, that's tough to disable.
But it sort of does this thing where you do a stealth mission in one area and then you go back to it and you go through the same environment, but it's daytime and oh my goodness. It feels very different and it sort of gives this nice continuity to the action.
Let's take our first Twitter question. This one comes from Shade of Midnight, who says, I was reading that you can get through a lot of the game by simply directing AI partners and staying out of the action. Have you tried? Confirm or deny?
That is true. There's actually a trophy for completing an entire mission without firing on an enemy yourself. I attempted that, and it didn't go so well. But you can definitely do that. I mean, they are, the AI is not the most perfect AI, but they're very good shots. They're generally smart about staying in cover. I haven't been ordering them much right now, but I know that they are following in my footsteps or way back there instead. I'll order them to rally up and get shot by the big gun. It'll work out, don't worry. But yeah, you can do that. Definitely not, it's fun to shoot guys in the head, so you want to do that. Oh crap, okay, too close. Oh, do I have a shotgun?
You're doing fine.
I didn't pack a shotgun, I packed my SMG. Hey guys, what's going on? Okay, let's just hang on back here.
Turns out I owe a lot of money to these guys, and now they're shooting at all of us.
Guys, do you either have $10,000 or shoot these guys?
Yeah,
we got options.
Option A, option B, you choose.
These guys don't bring a lot of loose change with that cash on hand, so we're gonna have to shoot.
Red grenade indicator.
There goes my cover. So this is the campaign, and of course SOCOM also has competitive multiplayer is a big part of the game, which is also very fun and frantic, and 32 players, and has those classic SOCOM rules where when you die you don't respawn, which can be like really amp up the tension in a match when you know that if you mess up you're just going to be sitting there for a little bit.
All right, I'm going to take a question from the chat room. Actually, it's not so much a question, it's just a statement. Rattlehead XYZ says, I'm confident that Chris and Sean misspelled, by the way.
Ooh.
We'll look at the chat room and read the questions there. Hint, hint. Yeah, I think that confidence paid off because we're totally going to look at these questions, but only if you spell Sean correctly. I'm sorry.
How can you remind them what the spelling is?
S-H-A-U-N, also known as the correct way to spell it.
It's this thing he's got, folks. Just help him out. So in addition to competitive multiplayer, SOCOM's also got cooperative multiplayer, where 2 to 5 players can team up and take on these sort of standalone missions. The missions are pretty lengthy, and they take place on, oh, hello. Thank you, teammates. They take place on these campaign maps, and you can like turn up, you can determine what kind of difficulty you want. How many enemies, how smart they are, and when you turn it up to the max settings, it is really hard, but if you're playing with 5 dudes, it's really fun, because there's just so much killing and avoiding getting shot to do. You got to use smoke grenades to like cover so you can revive people and stuff. It's very, very good.
All right, let's see. Lego Kid 3000 on Twitter asks, will there be move support for SOCOM at launch?
There is move support, yes. I have played it with the move. I tried the sharpshooter.
Yeah.
I prefer them, not the sharpshooter. I prefer to have the 2 hands doing 2 different things. But yeah, the move support works really well. Of course, it's got, you can customize the dead zones and stuff, so you can really tweak your aim the way you like it. And then not only does it have the move support, it also across all 3 modes. You can also, oh, it's gonna explode. Let's go over here. You can also play it in 3D. It's got stereoscopic 3D support for all 3 of you out there who own 3D televisions already, you early adopters. Oh God, oh no, shameful death. What? How did that guy get up behind me? Oh, there's 2 of them.
Or did you just get teabagged?
No.
Teabag? No, I'm sorry. It's called victory squads.
I got shot. No, that is going to happen in the competitive multiplayer. Actually, where SOCOM is like, you know what? Squatting, sure, that's improvising. You can do that, but no, we let you dance over your enemy's corpse. You just go up to the guy you shot, you press circle while standing over him, victory dance. And they have a surprising amount of dances. I did the Macarena the other day when I killed someone, and then
Topical.
Yeah,
Topical.
Apparently it's big in Korea. And then, the Russian sort of dude dance, I don't know what that's called, where you squat real low and kick your legs out. That's the Russian Macarena. The Russian Macarena. Yeah. Okay. Oh, this isn't going to be good.
A question from T-Man 777777777.
Too many 7s. Veto.
He's putting you on the spot. When is your review going to be up, Chris?
The review is going live at the end of the show. I'm going to go back to my desk and I'm going to tick it live. It's going to be a video review and the written review. You guys can read all about it. Read the full evaluation and decide. Oh. This is not indicative of my performance, by the way. It's terribly shameful.
Tough to talk and play at the same time.
It is, and this is a tough part. You're on the top of the ship. There's not a lot of cover positions. How are we doing on time here, Sean? Do you think we have time to try to hop into a different type of game, or are we sort of near the end of the?
I mean, if you can do that in like a minute, are you really good at navigating menus?
Yeah, I am. Actually, it's one of my skills that I put on my resume. Boom, online. It's
really
already
good
happening.
at navigating menus.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get into a match.
That's a really specific skill, but okay. I mean, if there's one job that works for, it's this one.
It's this one. Why do you think I got this job? Oh, see, voting ends in 20 seconds. We'll at least get a short. Which one do you guys want? Outpost or collision? You got 20 seconds to vote. Chat room, light it up.
Chat room, what's it going to be? Outpost or collision? Currently, there are 0 votes.
This is a medley. So these are the game types.
Collision,
you got
collision.
Collision. All right. We got team deathmatch.
Also, outpost. There's a lot of both. I really can't.
You're going to have to tally it up, all right?
I'm going to give this one to Edu Buccaneer, who says he didn't actually. He said something different. There was your chance.
You're a little confused.
There was
in
your
the chat
chance,
room,
Eduardo. Sorry, you bungled it.
All right, we'll fire this up. We'll see. I'll hopefully kill someone in a few seconds, and yeah, we'll see to get a taste of the competitive multiplayer. It's this interesting blend of, you can run, you can move pretty quickly, but you also die really quickly. One shot to the head, a few shots to the body. That's all it takes, as you saw in the single-player campaign when I died, as an instructive example.
All right.
So we're playing Bomb Squad, and in this mode, the bombs are already planted. One team is trying to defuse them, and one team's trying to defend. And the defusal team gets one player who's the bomb tech, and they get to wear this giant, like, Hurt Locker bomb suit. Not only that, that makes them much tougher. They get a, all right, how's my loadout doing? Yeah, fine. They,
oh, there's timers for everything in this.
Look, I'm spawning in 10 seconds. What do you want?
Oh, I'm so far away.
In addition to the big bomb suit, you get this, like the USAS, that super gas-powered automatic shotgun, which is really nasty, and a grenade launcher. These aren't weapons you can really get as a normal type soldier. Unfortunately, I have spawned as just a normal type soldier, specifically 45, the badass NATO soldier. But I'm hoping the bomb tech comes over, is actually playing, because you know how you start and then there's like the key player and then they're just not moving? That's happening. All right. You know what? Let's just kill someone.
Just do me a favor. Make somebody be more dead than they are now.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, murder!
This is totally a good idea.
Nice.
Yeah, first blood.
Oh, wow.
See, sometimes aggression pays off, and sometimes you get hell of killed.
Welcome to Chris
Like
Waters'
this guy.
personal murder party.
Who wants to get a triple kill? It's me. Oh, reloading at the worst possible time.
All right, Eduardo wants to redeem himself with a real question.
Go ahead.
Instead of just a statement. Do you get any bonuses for playing the PSP or PS2 SOCOM games, aside from the personal prestige of being a SOCOM veteran?
Negative.
Okay.
That is a big negative. Oh, you're gonna die, Charlie. Stand right there. It's a grenade. Oh, it didn't happen. I got shotgunned. Nope, Fire Team Bravo 3, not connected here. SOCOM Confrontation, no connection. It's just SOCOM 4. Dive in. There's plenty to do.
Cool.
Yeah, so this is the multiplayer, as you can see. The maps are pretty good. There's a lot of different routes you can take, a lot of cover positions. There's my bomb tech. Let's see if we can see him. Oh, no. Oh, I wanted to dance.
That seems like just as good a time of
but I didn't dance.
As any. No, you.
All right, that's the end of the SOCOM review, folks. SOCOM 4 is totally available on Tuesday, coming out for the PS3. And the review, like I said before, going live at the end of the show. So check it out. Up next, we've got an interview for SSX. Don't call it Deadly Descents. It's the new SSX game. We got new details and new gameplay. Let's check it out right now.
Hey everyone, Sophia here in San Francisco at an EA Sports event. I'm joined by Todd Batty, creative director on the new SSX. Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
All right, so I noticed like the first thing is that there's no subtitle this time. The last time you guys announced the game, Deadly Descent. So what happened there?
So, we kind of took a look at it and, like we said, three pillars that this game is being built upon: race it, trick it, survive it. So we have like race descents, we have tricky descents, and we have deadly descents. We thought by sort of putting deadly descents on top of the game title, it really narrowed everything and made it feel like that was all the game was, when it's really in reality more like 1/3 of the game. So we just decided SSX, it's broad, it speaks to it a little bit better.
Yeah, that's true. You just went through a lengthy presentation about all the three pillars, and there's this new survival mode. Could you talk a bit about that?
Sure. You know, when we say survival mode, people get really freaked out and they think like, oh, are you guys going to have people shooting and killing people? And like we said, it's really more indicative of sort of where the sport has evolved to. If you look at, you know, SSX and the original SSX, SSX was actually a precursor to Bordercross even being in an Olympic event. And so, you know, the sport of snowboarding has evolved since then, and people are doing really incredible, crazy things out there. I keep getting YouTube clips sent to me that I just are bananas. And so we thought, well, you know, it would be pretty cool to wrap a game mode around that, just to give people an alternate type of gameplay, so you can still race and you can still do trick events, but what would it be like to try to get down the mountain alive? Meaning, don't fall off a cliff, don't get buried by an avalanche, don't have a falling rock, you know, fall on top of your head and kill you. And it's really more about that, and it's not deadly serious, and it's not about, you know, celebrating death. It's really more about sort of providing a different gameplay objective that just adds depth to the franchise.
Yeah, I think that's what fans were initially worried about. But now that you mentioned that there's like the initial SSX stuff coming back, can you talk a bit about what's familiar and what fans should be expecting?
Yeah, I mean, I think SSX, you know, if I look at SSX, even as a fan, I think, you know, the foundation upon which SSX was built was it was an amazing racing game. And, you know, SSX can do things in the racing genre that driving games can't do, in the fact that we go airborne and we can jump over cliffs and we can do, you know, SSX was one of the founders of sort of tricks equals boost type gameplay, and giving you that sort of fundamental decision as a player. Do I want to just try to beeline it down the mountain really fast, or do I want to take the time to do a bunch of tricks, but then that will give me boost? And giving you that sort of multiple ways to get down the mountain really fast was an incredibly deep experience that, you know, lots of games have mimicked since then. And then on the trick side of things, you know, it's interesting, we spent a lot of time talking with people who worked on past SSXs, and the dev team of the original SSX said that they thought that they were shipping a racing game, and then when players got it in their hands, they turned it into a tricks game, and it was really the trick stuff that really gave people that opportunity for sort of self-expression. You know, around that era, Tony Hawk, SSX, those were the original party games. I know you know, the living room game where you could just try to always best your friend, and so we're bringing those both back in a really big way.
Yeah, speaking of the regions, like what kind of tracks are we racing down on?
Well, you know, what we developed in an early day was sort of a proprietary tool that we call Mountain Men. And what we started with was we downloaded topography data of the entire planet Earth from NASA. And what that gave us was this incredible starting point where we could basically generate any mountain in the world in a matter of seconds. And then we could spend all of our time, instead of sort of building the core mountain and all of the vistas and everything itself, we could spend all of our time actually manipulating the gameplay experience. So we're going to take you everywhere from Alaska to the coastal Rocky Mountains to Antarctica to the Caucasus Mountains to the Alps. We're going to take you all over the world, 18 major mountain ranges on planet Earth, 70 odd open mountains within every one of those mountain ranges, and then hundreds of drops on every one of those mountains.
Yeah, thanks NASA. So could you also talk could you also talk a bit about the characters, who's returning, any new faces?
We're going to follow the same formula SSX has always followed before, which is we're going to bring back a mix of some returning characters, and we're going to actually introduce some new characters into the SSX universe. So the only character we've committed to at this time as a returning character is kind of the no-brainer. We're going to bring back Elise. We showed her to you today. And then what we're actually going to do, I think this is a really neat idea, is we're just going to reach out to the community. We're starting a poll on our Facebook site of, we're going to ask the community who do they want to see back. So if everybody wants Mac back, we'll bring Mac back. If everybody wants Simon or Kaori or whoever it might be, we have a pretty good idea of who those characters are going to be, but there's a few questions in our head about which ones, and then we've been working on who are some new characters we can introduce, what kind of personalities that can they have, and how can they add something new to the universe.
So fans need to get out there and start voting.
Absolutely.
And so the social aspect of it, you kind of teased it a little bit. What can you tell us about like multiplayer online?
So I would love to tell you about what we're going to do with online and multiplayer. We're saving that right now. All I can tell you is we were very inspired by what sort of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit did with Autolog, how they started to bring, you know, the ability to sort of compete against your friends, whether they were there or not, into the equation. And we're going to blow that out in a way that's really just going to change the way people interact with our game. It's going to be really neat.
Great. right, so my last question. When's the game coming out and on what platform?
Coming out January 2012 on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for having me. And that was our look at SSX. Now, be sure to check back on GameSpot.com for more coverage.
And we're back, folks, and look, the sound coming out of our mouth totally matches it. That's because we're not Sophia Tong. She actually has this thing.
You're right. It's an affliction.
Yeah,
it's an affliction.
Well, you know, she clearly has managed to thrive in society.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's whenever you talk to her, her lips are just sort of naturally a little bit off of the voice coming out of her mouth.
And when she talks to people, they sort of mimic that just to be polite.
It's like when you talk to a British person and you start like talking in an accent a little bit.
Like, oh yeah, oh yeah,
and then you sound like you sound terrible, but you know that's
right.
I
thought that was a pretty good English accent. Come on, you got to give me that much.
Well, that's why we have GameSpot UK.
That's right. Yeah.
So I don't have to do that, but I still did it. All right, news topic. We got stuff on the desk we're giving away. Let's talk about this, Sean.
That's right, Chris. We are giving away this sheet of paper that's on the desk.
I'm keeping mine.
It's not, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys, it's not even college ruled. It's just plain blank paper, but it's really nice.
To
oh, right, that thing on the desk. Okay, that's the one.
360, PS3, we're giving away copies of this game, and Divinity 2, The Dragon Knight Saga.
This one is extra thick because it comes with like, what is this? I'm not sure. This is like an art book.
I don't know. Let's see. If only there was a sticker directly on the front of the package that says free art book and soundtrack included.
That answers that question.
We're giving those away at the end of the show, as well as downloadable codes for the new Killzone 3 map pack. And we're going to be showing that map pack off to you later in the show. Kevin Van Ord's coming in to shoot some Hellgas and or HG and or ISA, depending on which team.
Depending on like the roll of the dice.
Yeah, depending on how that works out.
Yeah.
What is coming up next? Can we give them? Can we talk about that?
That's a good question, Chris.
Yes is the answer. Well, let's talk about it.
That's a good question.
Super button mashing is happening next. You guys watched round 1 last week. Me, Sean, David Jaffe competing in the Brain Bust.
Brain Bust,
which didn't. Wasn't my strongest performance. I came out of the first round a little behind, a little bit of an underdog.
Really behind.
Going into the second round. I don't want to make any promises about my performance, but I will tell you that I decided to commit to excellence only after the first round was over.
You would be good if we had like a kids button mashing. You know they have like Kids Jeopardy?
Yes, with a Z?
Yeah, Kids Jeopardy. You would be good on like Kids Jeopardy or like
button mashing?
Yeah, teen button mashing.
Okay, yeah.
But when it comes to like competing with adults, with like adult-sized brains, like what is it, like this big? Not that good.
Well, I don't. My brain has a lot of growing to go. Apparently,
you might redeem yourself in this next segment. Who knows?
I very well may. And let's answer that question right now. Can I redeem myself, or will Sean and Jaffe continue to pummel me into submission in the next round of super button mashing?
It's time to mash buttons. When I say button, you say mashing button. Mashing button. Mashing button. You're gonna get super button mashing coming at ya.
Welcome back to Super Button Mashing. I'm your host, Ryan McDonald. If you joined us last week, you saw our round 1 Brain Bust in which David Jaffe pretty much owned Chris and Sean in terms of his superior video game knowledge. Let's see if he can maintain that this week with round 2 Memory Leak. Round 2 Memory Leak. Memory Leak challenges players to identify games from a video composed of 1-second clips from a selection of 10 games. While watching the video, players will alternate guesses with no penalty for a wrong guess until they have successfully identified all games or until the timer has run out. Memory Leak consists of 3 rounds, each with its own selection of games based on that round's category. We are going to begin right now, and Chris, start us off. What do you got?
Fight Night Champion.
Excellent. David?
Portal 2.
Very good.
Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Very good.
Killzone 3.
Very good. David?
Battlefield 3. That first one wasn't?
No. Sean?
Catherine.
Very good. Chris?
Gran Turismo 5.
Very good. David?
The Demon Souls sequel, but I don't know the name of it.
All right. There's Sean?
Arkham City. Batman Arkham City.
Very good. Chris?
Infamous 2.
Very good. David?
Is it Dark Souls? Thank you. Don't give me that. Don't give me that. That's yours. That's yours. I knew it was. That's yours. That's not mine.
Oh God, we still have more. We still have more.
A little more time.
Whose turn is it?
Sean, go for
The game with stuff that explodes on a bridge.
it. Very close. So there you have it. There's the first round of Memory Leak. What'd you guys think?
Hated it.
Hated it? It is hard.
I liked
It does the whole crazy like, oh, I want to say something, but I can't. Oh, I know what you mean. The next Memory Leak that you guys have is themed after the top 2011 GDC games. So if you guys are ready,
Yeah.
go for it.
Battlefield 3.
Infamous 2.
Dragon Age 2. Dead Island.
Last Guardian.
Correct.
Ocarina of Time 3D.
Correct.
Rift.
David.
Some I don't fucking know.
Sean.
Did anybody say Battlefield 3 yet?
Yeah.
I did not hear that.
Oh,
I said that.
Yeah, I thought
Oh,
it
did
was
you?
you.
Okay.
Not bad.
All right. Well then, Infamous 2. Did anybody say
No,
that?
I
Oh,
said-
you're guessing stuff that was already said. That's
Chris.
a wrong guess.
Chris, what do you got? You got more?
I'm gonna go with
that?
Age of Reckoning again.
Age of Reckoning, you are absolutely incorrect. David.
That damn thing looks like a Metal Gear game, and nobody's talking about Metal Gear GDC. What is that?
The stabbing.
Yeah, it looks like a Metal Gear game,
Yeah.
right? I'm gonna say Metal Gear Solid something.
Not the case, Sean. All right, so there you have it. David Jaffe in the lead with 130. Sean McGinnis and Chris Waters not too far behind though, within striking distance. In the next round, we have a look at GameSpot's most anticipated games of 2011. So, if gentlemen, you're ready,
Yeah.
and we'll look at these games. Chris, let's start off again with you.
All right.
Ready?
Yes.
Go.
Gears of War 3.
Yes, you're correct. David.
I can run out the time, right? Oh, I didn't know I had. No, we didn't. I know there's a limit.
Go for it,
Okay,
Sean.
sorry.
Mass Effect 3.
You are correct. Chris.
LA Noire.
You are correct. David.
Star Wars MMO. I don't know the title. It's,
Remember the title? Judge, we give it to him?
Yeah.
Give it to him. Sean.
All right. The schoolgirls kissing game. Hot schoolgirls kissing each other.
Chris.
that's Twisted Metal.
I'm going with Deus Ex Human Revolution.
You're very correct. David.
Battlefield 3.
You are incorrect. Sean.
Uncharted 3.
You are totally correct. Chris.
That chick. Dragon Age 2.
You are incorrect. David. No. All right, so you guys said Deus
Game.
Ex.
Yes.
I did not hear Diablo 3.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which
3
one's
was one I did
Diablo
not hear.
3?
Diablo 3, which one is it? Let's see.
I think it was Hot Lady in Armor. Yeah, that. Yeah.
The Hot Lady in the Armor.
Oh, okay.
Duke Nukem is in there.
Chicks kissing. Chicks
That's.
kissing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got some Duke.
Absolutely.
You know, Gears of War 3, I heard that. Guild Wars 2, that was one I did not hear.
Ooh.
LA Noire, Mass Effect 3, Star Wars: The Old Republic, and Uncharted 3.
All right.
That was the end of our Memory Leak round 2. David Jaffe still showing he's got the stuff to get him through. He's closing out that round with 130 points, but the competition obviously heated up with Sean McGinnis on his heels with 110 points. Chris Waters closing the gap with 100 points. So anybody's game really kind of at this point as we head into round 3, which you should be joining us for on April 21st, which we call the Consolation Round. Consolation Round will test these guys' skills and abilities actually in game. So trivia stuff aside, identifying games aside, it's coming down to the button pressing. So be sure to join us. Here's some highlights of what to expect. So David, you ready for this?
I'm not.
You're not ready for this?
suck at this game.
You can't drive? No?
I cannot drive Gran Turismo.
You got to hold it. You're doing good. Oh! You got one dude. He's down. Give me 2 more. You found the zoom in button. That was cool.
Oh, I see.
Oh, but you don't die.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness, it's gonna take you longer forever.
Coming in hot.
There you go, coming in hot. Whatever, this is awesome.
Land! I'm pressing the land button! Oh, damn you! All right, folks, welcome back to the set. Sean and I were reliving those dramatic round 2 moments in which I made a pretty solid comeback.
You did pretty well. I'll give you credit for that one.
Thank
That
you.
was a pretty epic comeback. I might be laying the groundwork for a pretty epic choke, possibly.
Yeah, I don't
in that final
know.
round.
Your guess of the schoolgirls kissing game was not exactly on point.
I wish it was.
Alas, no. And we must move on because we've got a whole lot more in the show. Sean, as you folks know, Sean travels a lot as a part of his role here at GameSpot. And the most recent city you traveled to was?
Miami, Florida, not Ohio.
Not Ohio.
Not Miami,
Florida,
Ohio.
you went down south.
Down south.
Not in search of the Fountain of Youth, rather to attend Captivate.
Captivate. It's Capcom's annual big sort of press event to sort of kick off the, summer press event season, as it were.
Yeah, things get busy from here on out.
Yeah, it's basically E3, Comic-Con, all that. Anyways, it gets big, but this is sort of Capcom setting the stage. And they showed off some cool stuff, some Street Fighter, some Resident Evil. They unveiled Dragon's Dogma. A whole lot of stuff went down there in Miami.
And we've got a wrap-up sort of on-location thing that gives you folks a sampling of the best there. Now, as you're watching, keep in mind, Sean and I will be back to answer your questions later in the show about these games. So put them in the chat room, send them to us on Twitter to @GameSpot, and we'll try to answer them. And from now, we are going to roll this thing here. Captivate, let's take it away.
Feature.
Hey folks, Sean and Ricardo here in Miami for Captivate, Capcom's annual press event. They have a tendency to hold these events in very exotic locations. Last year it was Hawaii, this year it's Miami. You can't go wrong, right?
Nope, it is equally hot and humid here as it was last year.
So the theme for this year's show, if I had to describe it succinctly, something old, something new, because they had some original IP this year, and they've also got their familiar franchises. So why don't we go ahead and start with the new stuff, Dragon's Dogma. What do you think?
Dragon's Dogma is not religious. It's about a dragon, I think.
Yes.
And killing them.
Well, there's dragons and there's other mythical creatures in there as well. This game looks interesting because it's a fantasy game and it's an open world game, so you immediately think Elder Scrolls, but it's not exactly an RPG. This is very much an action game. You're doing some crazy stuff. I set a goblin on fire and then I threw him into a bunch of his goblin buddies. I climbed onto a griffin that was flying in the sky and I stabbed it in the face a bunch of times. It's definitely an action game, so that one looked interesting, but in addition to original IP like that, we're seeing some other familiar franchises, right?
We are. I got to see Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, which is another return to the Super Street Fighter pool for Capcom, and it is now the arcade edition that we know and love that was in arcades coming home. They're really smart this time out. No one's going to hate them that much because it's DLC, which is kind of cool.
Although there is the option where you can buy the retail version, right?
Yeah, they are trying to make sure that they do right by the community. So what they've done is, for people that own the game, there is just a DLC patch that you're going to be able to get in early June. For people that want to get the disc, that maybe they missed Super Street Fighter 4, they can get a disc that has this all on one thing. And for people that maybe want to hold off a little bit, they actually have a patch to ensure compatibility with existing Super Street Fighter 4 players that don't have the full-on arcade upgrade.
Sounds good. Now, that's not the only Street Fighter game that they showed here. There was half of another Street Fighter game, right?
There was, and it was awesome. So we got to play Street Fighter Cross Tekken for the first time. It was really, really cool. They have changed the fighting system yet again, because they've been playing with the Street Fighter stuff a little bit. You know, we saw Capcom kind of definitely change up the fighting stuff that we know from Street Fighter for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This time, it's another tweak, and they have somehow, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but they've somehow managed to make the Tekken characters and the Street Fighter characters work. They've brought two different fighting game systems together, because Tekken's kind of based on 4 buttons, Street Fighter 6, and the control system actually supports that, and they've changed up a lot of people's moves. Here they actually revealed 10 characters. They had Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, Ibel, and Guile. And on the Tekken side, for you fans, there was Kazuya, King, Marduk, Nina, and Bob. and it all worked. There were just basically 3 stages. There was a training stage, which was really plain, but there was kind of an apocalyptic stage that something really bad happened. There was a busted robot and everything, and a Kaboom head. And then they also had what looked to be like a Jurassic Park stage, I think, because there was some dinosaurs in the background, and Alex was there with his boxing glove in the background. So it seems like a really smart and cool mashup of both those franchises that work, so I'm really excited.
And it's a 2-player tag system, so it's sort of finding that comfortable middle ground between Street Fighter and like a game like MVC3, right?
Yep. It's really fast, and you'll be able to swap people in really quickly and continue combos. The crazy thing about it is they showed off the game. They just gave us super high level. Here are the 6 buttons you use. Here's how you use the D-pad. Here's how you throw. Figure out the rest. And so we found all kinds of crazy stuff. There's launchers like MVC3. You can actually charge certain moves and go right into your super, which is completely bizarre because it doesn't cost a meter. And all kinds of like minor technical things like that that are really cool.
Now, continuing with that theme of familiar franchises, we also saw Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, which is an interesting game because it is a Resident Evil title, which we have seen plenty of from Capcom. But this is not Capcom developing this game. This is Slant 6, a studio that's well known for working on the SOCOM games, and that DNA is sort of visible in Operation Raccoon City because it's an online, multiplayer, third-person shooter, very similar to the SOCOM games. It's interesting because there's a co-op mode and there's a versus mode. In all those modes, there's a class system. So you're actually choosing a type of Umbrella Corporation security officer to play as to just plow down zombies in a hunt, essentially for Leon Kennedy. So it's interesting because you're playing as the bad guys this time around.
And you got to play as one of the more oddly named bad guys, because usually when you think the Resident Evil series, it's like, what was it? It was Hunk and Chunk and all these other just heavily armored dudes that we've seen in the past, but you got to see the softer side of them, didn't you?
I did. I got to play as a very rotund demolitions expert named Beltway. There's also a lady named Bertha, Vector and Spectre, and maybe there's a guy named Steve in there. I'm not sure exactly, but moving on, there was another Resident Evil game here, correct?
There was, and this one was in 3D and portable. So we got to see the latest edition of Resident Evil The Mercenaries 3D, because it's on the 3DS. We got to play as one of 6 characters, run around, shoot stuff. It's basically the Mercenaries mode that we know from Resident Evil, but fleshed out considerably. There's a lot of unlockable content and lots of things to kill.
Yeah, and speaking of things to kill, specifically zombies, they also showed Dead Rising 2 Off the Record, which is basically an alternate universe take on Dead Rising 2, where instead of playing as Chuck Green, you're playing as Frank West, the hero from the original Dead Rising title. He was a photojournalist, and obviously the original game had a camera system in it, and that's making its comeback here for Dead Rising 2 Off the Record Edition. There's some tweaks, there's some changes, there's a little bit of old, a little bit of new in here, and it seems like a very interesting take on the director's cut format, which is something that Capcom is pretty well known for.
I think for me, this is insane because it seems like they've actually taken someone's fanfic and brought it to life.
A little bit insane, but it looks pretty cool, especially for those who are fans of the character Frank West, because he definitely has a fan base out there. Now, another game that we saw has a giant finger in it, and I don't want to spoil anything else. I'll let Ricardo spoil it.
Right, so at Tokyo Game Show, we saw this big thing called Asura's Wrath. We didn't know what the hell was going on. We saw this dude, he was beating stuff up, then an enormous finger came from the sky, and we were like, what is this? And they're like, yay, find out more later. And we just did. So they showed off a new version of the game that put the large finger in the sky in context somewhat. There's demigods, and they're fighting, and there's a dude named Asura, and he's really upset. One would even say pissed off.
It's a little bit like God of War with Asian mythology.
And more arms. Sora has 6 arms. He runs around a lot. He's very expressive, very angry. Doesn't really like the fact that he's mostly human-sized. I mean, he could be like 7 feet, but the demigods, the size of the building, maybe bigger. And then they fight. We got to see him beat one up. And the context for the finger thing, he throws a dude into space. The dude wakes up, gets really mad, gets bigger than the planet, brings his finger down, and surprisingly, Asura does not take that lying down. He punches the finger many times. Okay, he busts like 5 of his arms, but then he uses the last good arm he's got, and he just punches him. The dude explodes out in space. There's light and all kinds of stuff, and that's just like a boss fight.
And that's a boss fight at the beginning of the game. It gets crazier, at least according to the developer of that game. I don't know how you top a giant finger space battle. It seems kind of far-fetched.
It's, well, you know, they want it over the top. They got it. I think this is probably, now back me up here, it's the first time we've ever seen a game where somebody got thrown into space and had their finger punched so hard they exploded.
The first, and hopefully not the last. If that's a trend that continues on in 2011, I think we'll all be the better for it. Now, Ricardo, I think that's pretty much all the games that Capcom had here.
It was a nice spread. Surprisingly, a lot of cool stuff and lots of teases for E3. A lot of the stuff that we saw here, they said they're going to show a lot more at E3. Really excited to hear about Street Fighter Cross Tekken because everyone assumed the roster was going to be small, but Ono laid it out and he said there's going to be roster reveals at E3, Gamescom, and Comic-Con, I think.
New York Comic-Con.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a huge roster. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, there you guys have it. A lot more to look forward to at E3, as if you weren't excited enough for that show already. But like I said, that's about it. So, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Sean and Ricardo here in Miami. Take care, everybody.
And we're back, and Sean is out of the wind, sitting in the chair, and yeah, Captivate seemed like there were some pretty cool games there. Seemed like you guys were having a good time up at that balcony.
That was a lot of fun, actually, and that Asura's Wrath game looks like it could be really cool, and if nothing else, I'm sure it's just going to be really entertaining.
It certainly looks like it. I mean, even, you know, obviously that giant finger from space is pretty cool, you know, from a spectacle perspective, but that guy, he seems very angry and very highly energetic with a lot of arms to do a lot of punching.
I mean, think about it though. If you had been born with the curse of having 6 arms, would you be happy? You'd probably be really fighting mad.
You know, I probably would be, you know, the ostracization.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I said that word right.
Ostracization, that was correct.
The kids treat you like you're an ostrich.
Yeah, oh God.
They don't accept you. They don't let you play in their reindeer games. No. You end up mixing animal metaphors and just having a lot of arms. People ask you to hold their stuff all the time.
Exactly. It's just, I mean, I would be angry and I would punch people's fingers like all the time.
Well, speaking of angry, this is a good transition.
That's a great transition.
Stay with me now.
Okay. Focus.
Twisted Metal, we're going to talk about that game.
Nailed it.
Which involves angry clowns, homicidal clowns, murderous type people of all types driving vehicles through cities, destroying stuff. It's destroying each other, and a whole lot more. We have got a trailer that went up on the site this morning we're going to take a look at. Sean and I are going to be taking your questions about Twisted Metal. We've also got a hands-on preview on the site for you to check out, and we're going to be looking at a bunch of gameplay for Twisted Metal. It's all starting right now, folks. Get those questions coming in.
Their emptiness makes me whole. Their weakness makes me strong. Their destruction is my creation.
We shall all rise up this very night and tear down your tower of sin!
It does ice cream.
At
yes.
the end of that trailer, the PlayStation closer said it only does ice cream. I don't know. I'm calling shenanigans
You
on
don't
that
think
one.
there is, just because you have a flaming clown head and miniguns on the front of your ice cream truck doesn't mean there's not room for ice cream in the truck.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
reasonable.
Okay.
All right, so that's the trailer, folks. Now we're going to take a look at some gameplay, and Sean and I are going to take your questions and see what we can see. First question, is this going to be teen rated? My guess is no. This is a pretty violent game. I mean, granted, you're doing violence to automobiles, so it could be, actually, but there's no word on that, of course. ESRB ratings usually come down the pipe a little closer to the release date. So what we're looking at here is a helicopter.
Yes, Chris.
Helicopters are new to the series, Sean, and allowing you to fly around. The helicopter can pick up cars, as you saw earlier on. Not just so it can pick up friendly cars to be like, all right, we need to redeploy.
Right.
But it can also pick up enemy cars, take them to a very tall height, and drop them to their doom.
Oh, like helicopters in real life.
Yeah. Theoretically.
Theoretically.
Yes. And this is a different type of car.
This is called a regular type car.
It's also important to note that there can be more than one player in these cars.
Okay.
You can have. Actually, you know what? I think
Ooh,
I'm not sure that's true. I think
spiked.
the AI player, the gunner riding shotgun, might be AI.
Okay.
I do know that there is a semi-truck that multiple players can get involved in. Hopefully we'll see some of that on the next stretch of gameplay. Let me just check here in the chat room, and let's see. Asking about the rating. They're asking about Portal 2. No, that part is not over yet. That's coming later, folks.
There's very little Portal 2 in Twisted Metal.
In Twisted Metal, not so much.
I mean, it's sort of a last-minute cut. It's like, how much room do you have on the Blu-ray? Turns out not enough for both games.
There's a lot, but not enough for
both of these games.
Absolutely. And people are talking about campaign. All right, no, you know what? I don't know much about the campaign. I know stuff about multiplayer. That's what we're going to stick with. Here's that truck I was talking about. This giant semi-truck you can drive, and it can do this spy hunter thing where your allies can drive up in the back of it. Then their truck is protected, and they can get on these turrets on the top of the thing and just blow up all the bad guys. The truck is vulnerable when the bay is down, so it's kind of a risky move. But you get a couple of guys up there, and the truck is trying to ram people off the road, and then there's the guns up there. That's fun.
It looked cool. I might try that in real life situations.
No, don't do that. You really should.
If video games have taught me anything, it's that everything I play in video games can be done in real life.
Oh, learning. Not your best point. Boats. Are there boats in it? Says the chat room question. No.
No boats. No boats.
No, this is the only non-cars. There's a motorcycle, but there's no boats.
Okay. No boats. Motorcycle, similar to a boat in a lot of ways, but not a boat.
Solid FKB off Twitter asks, can you change your vehicle? Yeah, it's like spawning into a multiplayer match with classes. The vehicles are like different classes, so I'm pretty sure you can change them, at will when you spawn in. Now, wow, that road just got blown up right out from under them. That is nice. Shade of Midnight wants to know, how many game modes are there, or has it been announced? Well, I can tell you some of the multiplayer modes. Team Last Man Standing, which is like Team Deathmatch, only with a limited amount of respawns. So once those are up, you're not respawning, and it sort of ideally comes down to this sort of tense fight to see, who comes out on top. Ooh, those swinging balls are awesome. Swinging spiked balls. The other mode is the one they talked about at E3 last year, which is Nuke, which is sort of a multi-stage capture the flag thing that involves capturing hostages, sacrificing them to a missile launcher, and then using the missile launcher to shoot giant statues that are being transported by large helicopters. Naturally. That's kind of a no-brainer, right?
Exactly.
That is definitely one of the unique modes in Twisted Metal. And if you want to know more about Twisted Metal, folks, we are putting an interview up later today with David Jaffe, creator of Twisted Metal, competitor on Super Button Mashing, and he's going to answer, got all sorts of good information and more gameplay footage for you. That'll be hitting the site later tonight, so be sure to check that out. And now, we are on to our next tape segment. Sean, do you know what it is?
Is that This Week in Digital Downloads?
Nailed it!
Is that the one where Aaron Sampson gets us caught up on all the hot trends coming to your chosen gaming device of choice.
Internet-connected gaming device.
Digitally. Let's check it out. Aaron Sampson, what's new in this week on digital downloads?
What's up, GameSpotters? This is Aaron Sampson bringing you a list of top digital downloads this week on Xbox Live and PlayStation Network. New this week, the mono-eyed tribal warband marches on to PSN in Patapon 3. Patapon secured a coveted Editor's Choice 9.0 on GameSpot, and Patapon 2 followed up with a great 8.0, so the pressure's on for the third installment. Patapon 3 places players in the body of one of the tribe's heroes as they take on new quests and even new online battle modes. Also this week, available on Xbox Live and PlayStation Network is Might and Magic Clash of Heroes. Heroes is a remake of the 2009 DS version, which landed in 8.5. Heroes is an RPG puzzle battle game set in a classic fantasy world and follows the adventures of 5 heroes. You can check out footage of a demo and interview on GameSpot. Next up, old but newly available this week, is Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing with Banjo-Kazooie. This title competed with a packed field for the best driving game of 2010 and scored a great 8.0 on GameSpot for sharp responsive controls, creative track design, and great visuals. New DLC worth checking out this week includes the Bulletstorm Gun Sonata DLC pack on XBL and PSN, which grants access to 2 new Echoes map packs as well as 3 new Anarchy maps and adds the Flamingo and Pulp Leash variants. Also in the multiplayer mayhem department, Killzone 3 drops the Steel Rain map pack on PSN. Game trailers to keep an eye out for this week include the Section 8 Prejudice launch trailer, the Asura's Wrath trailer, and an announced trailer for Dead Rising 2 Off the Record, all on Xbox Live. For PSN, be sure to watch the Portal 2 TV spot. That's all for now. Check back next week for more This Week in Digital Downloads.
And we're back, folks. Don't go downloading yet because we've got another live demo on the show right now. Joining me in the co-host seat is Mr. Kevin Van Ord.
I'm gonna say go download. Well, I mean watch.
I guess you can, if you can multitask, you can alt-tab. No, don't do that. Keep us in frame here because Kevin is here to show off Killzone 3. What's that you say? Killzone 3 came out like a month and a half ago? No, there's new stuff.
There is new stuff. Steel Rain map pack. It's out already, so there's no reason you can't go and download it now or anything.
Yeah, unless you want to wait until the trivia section of the show when we're going to be giving away download codes for free.
Good point. Well, wait until you watch me really be bad at it. Traditionally, I'm not good at being on the spot while I play a game.
It's tricky.
But we're gonna.
As I showed before with my SOCOM performance, you tend to die a little bit and you get a little distracted trying to talk about it, but hopefully Kevin and I can combine our Killzone 3 knowledge to make a good demo. Kevin is playing. He's now spawned as an engineer. And which map are we on here, Kevin?
This is one of the two maps included. I'm not using the best weapon for shooting one of those bots up there. But we are playing on Stall Arms, which is one of the 2 new maps in the map pack. Which is hello.
Oh,
and
no!
Already first thing that happens.
Stabbed through the heart.
Exactly.
And you're too late. Stall Arms, a familiar place for anyone who played the campaign.
Sort of. And it's interesting because this is a place where terrible experiments happen.
Yes.
And so that's
weapons
the whole
research.
idea here.
Ooh, I saw one. I saw a bad guy. Yeah, weapons research, all sorts of stuff like that. What's giving you the option to repair a turret there?
Turret, yeah.
Get yourself some XP.
That's when that always happens, though. I don't know how many people are actually in this match.
Hit the back button. Let's see. Or I guess you have to spawn first.
Yeah, hang on.
What's population like?
Oh,
5.
Well, that explains a lot of that.
That explains why. Do you think it's worth dropping out to find a more populated match, or should we just go with it here?
Well, let's go with it for a few minutes, see what happens.
Yeah, let's
and then we can switch
get
to
a
the other
tour of
map,
Stall Arms, and then we'll try to find a match with the other map. Now, so this is largely, you're shooting through in like corridors here. There's a lot of close combat, it looks like.
There is a lot of close combat. That's what's actually really most interesting about this particular map is there's a lot of movement. You have to stay on the move.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I got
getting shot from up there.
Yeah, I see the guy.
It's his bot. All right, let's see if we've got any questions, folks. If you got questions on Killzone 3 multiplayer with the Steel Rain download pack, we are here answering them. Let's see. No, nothing coming in right now. How many game modes are there in Killzone 3? There is a single-player campaign. There is competitive multiplayer, and there's also you can play the campaign cooperatively.
You can play the campaign cooperatively, only offline though.
Oh, there he is. Vengeance will be yours.
Yeah, that's some great shooting on my part.
Assist.
Oh, well. At least I got an assist out
Are you
of it.
supposed to be planting those bombs, or are they planting bombs?
I think they are planting.
So
Let's
again,
find out.
we've
Let's
got
get up
questions
there
in
and
here.
find out.
Any new maps for operations? I'm pretty sure these are both for competitive, just for Warzone,
Ugh.
etc. Man, that guy's your nemesis.
There are only so many people in this match.
That is very true, and they know where you're going, and you are going to plant those bombs.
We are going to find maybe a more populated map. Let's check out the other one and see if there's more stuff going on in there. This is, by the way, that's a Warzone only map.
Okay.
The map's available only in Warzone. I'm going to go ahead and look for the new Guerrilla Warfare map. Now, if you don't play Killzone, then maybe you don't know what that mode is. It's commonly called Team Deathmatch elsewhere. But this is Junkyard, another kind of a returning.
Familiar environment
from the single player, but not exactly the same environment. I mean, in the single player, it's very corridor driven. Here, it actually reminisces kind of some of the Killzone 2 maps. There's kind of a canal and some verticality to it, which is the kind of thing I like. And it needs verticality because this map is all about kind of the jetpacks.
Ooh.
And I'm going to switch weapons, I think. Here we go.
Go with the old workhorse LMG.
Yeah, a little bit better for long range.
All right, so you're coming out of here into sort of, this one is Junkyard, you say?
This is Junkyard.
And what's that in that kiosk there?
This would be a jetpack, which maybe I will, oh, hello. See, I'm not always bad at online shooters.
Nice
see
work.
That?
All right, so we've got questions coming in. People want us to clarify what exactly this DLC is about, what maps there are, and what modes they're for. So we were just playing the Stall Arms map. That's one of them, and that is for Warzone. Can you also play the Team Deathmatch in that mode?
They're only for their respective game types.
Okay,
so this is only for Guerrilla Warfare. Stall Arms is absolutely only
for Warzone.
For Warzone, yeah.
And that's the two maps that make up the Steel Rain DLC. So that's two maps, and there we go. That should be clear to you folks now.
Yeah.
Yes, jetpacks are all abundant in this map. I can see, yeah, this is sort of like a large open basin area.
There he was.
Gotcha. But yeah, there we see jetpacks ready to be used in the background.
But not just jetpacks. That great big mech is also an important part of this particular map.
Oh.
So if I can, when I come across one,
turret. Yeah, destruction.
So I think I'll just switch to the jetpack in the open, the wide open, where it's best to switch to jetpack.
Move, move, move! There we go. Oh man.
So I have the feeling that
explosions.
Someone's
Someone's on your tail.
Yep. I'm not sure if that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you got jetpacked. Nice work. All right, let's check here. We've got people asking, is there going to be any story-based DLC? Do we have any word on future DLC?
I don't think so, and honestly, I'm not sure how that would work based on Killzone 3's ending. You can't really add to the story. I suppose you could do an offshoot, but nothing's been announced, and since there's no precedent for that, I'd be very surprised.
That would be surprising. I think I saw a guy at the top of that hill.
Did you?
Yeah, up to yeah, maybe fly up in there. Can you make it?
No.
There he is.
But he's up there.
Can you like do the up and then boost forward? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, he knew I was coming.
No, you got him. Nice. Way to hunt him down. All right. We're checking Twitter here. Again, send your questions to us to @GameSpot, folks, because we are live demoing this Steel Rain DLC. We've got people asking, is there some sort of Chris Cornell connection? Because Steel Rain is apparently a song by that guy. I'm going to go ahead with no and draw your attention to the fact that it is totally raining and they are in a junkyard full of steel. I don't know. That's what I would go with.
Do they have Chris Cornell in Scandinavia?
Do they have him in? I think he's.
Yeah,
I think he's worldwide.
You know, these are European developers, of course. So maybe they don't even know who Chris Cornell is. Who knows? Ah! Stop shooting me.
All right, come on, man. Don't send me Naruto questions right now. I love Fishbone. We're talking Killzone 3.
Yeah, but who doesn't love Naruto?
A lot of people do love Naruto.
Is there a, oops, I hit the wrong button, but that's all right. Is there actually some kind of thing between Dragon Ball Z fans and Naruto fans? Is there like a kind of
a rivalry
of
which orange-clad ninja is superior?
Yeah, I've always kind of wondered about that.
I don't know. Hopefully we can explore that topic on a later show. Perhaps we'll have a demo. But for now, we're going to wrap up our demo here of Killzone 3 Steel Rain DLC. Kevin, you were saying this is totally available right now, right?
It is totally available right now.
Okay. It's available now. It's about $5 on PSN. Or, like we said before, wait till the end of the show. We're giving away a whole bunch of codes if you can answer our trivia question. That's coming up after the next few segments. And speaking of next segments, it's off to Portal 2. If you folks were watching the site yesterday, you saw Sean McInnes sit down with Eric Wolpaw from Valve to play through some single player and some cooperative Portal 2. That's our Now Playing. It's archived on the site. Pretty good watching, if you ask me. But don't go watch that just yet. We've got a starting block that Eric Wolpaw has given you some super specific tips on how to excel at Portal 2. I don't know if you're going to be able to make it without these folks. Let's check them out.
It's been a long time. How have you been?
This is less mechanical. 3 tips for Portal 2. First one is just avoid spoilers. Try and go in as clean as possible, because once it comes out on Tuesday, you know, the entire game's going to be on YouTube and there's going to be spoilers everywhere. Just play it. Just go in, don't know anything. Trust me, there's a bunch of interesting things that happen that you don't want spoiled for you. Second one is find somebody. Start looking now. Find somebody you like, who you can spend some time with to play co-op with, because it's a really social experience that requires a lot of communication. And then, you know, and if it's a tie between 2 people, pick the smarter one. You can have an easier time of it.
Test chamber completed.
And the third one is when you're playing single player, and I don't think this rises to the level of spoiler, take your time. Play a little bit, because Wheatley, who's one of the characters, Steve Merchant, if he's waiting for you to do something, don't do it sometimes, and see what happens.
Now you're used to seeing him towards the earlier part of the show, but here he is now, folks. Tor Thorson.
I'm late, sorry.
That's all right. You were hard at work creating news.
Creating news, because the NPD numbers just came out. And for those of you who are interested about the health of the game industry.
How we doing?
How we doing? In March, U.S. game sales declined 4% to $1.53 billion, which is a little bit better than expected.
Less of a decline
than expected? Less of a decline than expected, but not as good as February, where sales were up by 3%.
Oh.
Hardware sales were up 12% to $494.5 million during the month, thanks to the launch of the 3DS.
Nice.
But the 3DS was not the biggest, was not the highest selling, or the biggest selling console of the month. The regular DS was, and that's because of a little thing we like to call Pokemon, which was the highest grossing, which was the Pokemon sales set records for the franchise, beating even Pokemon Silver and Gold in October 2008, according to NPD.
Just when you thought Pokemon, like more than 10 years been around, it's hitting new peaks of popularity.
It's crack.
Unbelievable.
Crack for kids. So anyway, let's see. Pokemon White version, and together Pokemon White version sold 1.3 million units and 1.1 million units for Pokemon Black. So that propelled the DS to 460,000 units sold for the month. But the 3DS didn't do too shabby. It sold for just shy, according to Nintendo's exact words, just shy of 400,000 units.
Just shy.
Just shy.
Real close.
Real close. Oh, close but no banana. And the top-selling console for the month was the Xbox 360 with 433,000 units. But Sony didn't release figures for the PlayStation 3, so they just said the PlayStation family had double-digit sales increases. So
vague.
Vague, very vague. So the top 2 games were Pokemon Black and White, followed by Homefront, Dragon Age 2, then Call of Duty Black Ops still hanging in there.
Still going strong.
Yep, Lego Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars. Crisis 2 is in 7th. NBA 2K11 still in the top 10 5 months later, thanks to no competition because NBA Live or NBA Elite got canceled.
It's the only game in town.
And it'll be the only game in town this year too. And then MLB 11 The Show was number 9, and Fight Night Champion still in the ring at number 10.
That's a pretty diverse top 10 list.
Well, yeah, I mean you got everything from gotta catch them all to I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Or I'm gonna shoot you in the face.
Or I'm gonna shoot you in the face. So
or I'm gonna dunk in your face.
Something for everybody. Speaking of sports and EA, EA Sports announced that Madden NFL is gonna kick off on August 30th. Now that
was that their wording? They went for the pun, or is that you?
That's me.
Nice.
So
nailing it.
Actually, that's my dear associate Tom Agrino wrote that. Anyway, that's significant because it's a little bit later than past years, but it's also significant because this year they're not even sure there's going to be an NFL season at all. But EA is saying no matter what, if there's no football on TV, you'll still have football on your TV thanks to.
Still have Madden football.
Yeah, complete with concussions.
Complete. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Are they amping that up this year?
They're actually going to factor in concussions this year because it's kind of a tip of the hat to the actual problems happening in the real NFL. So the characters will actually get concussions and get carried off the field.
Is the ambulance going to drive onto the field and knock over all the other players?
Like I don't know. They haven't announced that mechanic yet.
Here's hoping.
Another, also in the news, there has been some kind of doubt of whether or not the NGP is going to come out in the U.S. territory this year. First, Sony Computer Entertainment President Jack Tretton said that the earthquake has disrupted supply chains in Japan.
Yeah,
and
we talked about last week.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they said, no, it's not. They didn't disrupt the supply chain, but it's still going to be a tiered release by territory, which means it could launch in Japan this year and still launch in holiday 2011, but not come out in the U.S. in 2011.
Okay.
Well, an analyst, Colin Sebastian, went to this behind closed doors PlayStation analyst convention thing. Ooh, secret Illuminati, yeah. And he said that at that event they confirmed that it's definitely 100% coming to the U.S. this year.
This year?
This year, 2011, we'll see the NGP launch in the U.S. Sony is saying. Now, as of this week.
Okay, that's so pretty reliable source, we think?
Well, yeah, he's one of the most prestigious analysts out there, and other analysts have backed it up as well.
Start saving now.
Start saving now. That's the other thing is that he's got concerns about the price point, which other analysts have said it could be up to $350.
So maybe start saving a few months ago.
Yeah, exactly. Crack open your piggy banks. But it's got a it's going to have high obviously have cutting edge technology. So people will cough up for that.
Yeah, that's true.
So other news coming out of the event is that the PlayStation Network now has 75 million accounts, half of which are in North America.
75 million.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
The PlayStation Network, but I mean that means you can sign up through your PSP.
How many do you have on your PS3?
One.
I think.
Hang my head in shame.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Also, this week, a rumor came from the technology blog Engadget that the Wii is going to get a $50 price cut on May 15th. It's only going to be $150.
Really?
Yeah. That's, I mean, they cited a trusted source. That's the word on the street. That's not official by any means, because Nintendo does not comment on rumors or speculation. But a lot of people are seeing it that if that's the case, that'll be a precursor to the Wii 2, which today, Game Informer, citing multiple trusted sources, say that the Wii 2 is going to be announced at E3.
At E3.
Yeah, and it's
really?
And it's going to be an HD enabled successor. So all that stuff about Nintendo saying, "Oh, people don't want HD." Well, apparently they do. They will when the second one comes out. But that's about all that's known right now. They said it's going to. They're not sure if it's going to match or exceed or fall short of what's available of the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3.
Okay.
They just know that just the sources are saying, and again, that's not confirmed because Nintendo doesn't comment on rumors or speculation, people. But it's probably going to be announced according to rumors.
So
at
it
E3.
could be a pretty big E3 this year.
It could be a big E3. NGP price, Wii 2.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting as always.
Showing you what's on the horizon in terms of spending a lot of your money to play the latest game.
Right, exactly. So going for your pocketbook again.
Cool. Well, Tor, thank you so much for coming in and sharing the news.
No problem.
And folks, speaking of news, as we discussed last year. That's
we. That's we, not the we.
Yes.
Right.
Us here at GameSpot are launching a new show next week, GameSpot Sync, and we've got a preview for it that we're going to run right now. Give you folks a little taste of what's in store for you come Monday.
Hey everyone, Jody Robinson here for GameSpot Sync. Starting Monday, April 18th at 4 p.m., I'll be bringing you a daily dose of all things video games. Tune in every day for the latest news, previews, features, and more hitting GameSpot. Until next time, I'm Jody Robinson, and I will see you Monday.
All right, there's a quick look at Sync starting on Monday. Be sure to tune in for that. I'm definitely excited to see it. It's shaping up pretty well. Now, the time you've been waiting for, a lot of you have been tweeting about, we're giving away free stuff. It's trivia time. We got games, we got codes, and we got Sean McInnes back on the set.
Hey, just a quick bit of movie magic, and suddenly I'm back here on the set. Chris, why don't we go ahead and start with Shift 2?
Okay, let's do that. Let me shuffle through my papers here.
So we're giving away Xbox 360 and PS3 copies of the game, so make sure you guys state your preferred platform.
And yeah, so here's the question, folks. We're giving away these copies of Shift 2. If you want to get one, you need to answer a question. And this question is coming up for you. How many Need for Speed Shift video games have been released since the franchise began? All right, what you're seeing right there is our question for Divinity 2, which is our other game we're giving away. For the Xbox 360, we're giving away 5 copies of that. So we're going to deliver the first question here. Whichever comes up is the one I'm going to read, and then it's the one you're going to be able to answer, so get ready to take notes.
Let's get one of those questions. Hey, that's the one.
Here we go. How many Need for Speed games have been released since the franchise began in 1994? Again, folks, the way you answer these trivia questions, don't put it in the comments, don't tweet it. That's for questions. You want to answer trivia, you send us an email to onthespot@gamespot.com, or look on your web browser and see the little green Answer Trivia button on the side of the page. That'll bring up a little dialogue. You fill in the fields. You get it. And like Sean said, for Shift 2, be sure to designate which platform you want. Now, on to the next game, Divinity 2, with free art book and soundtrack included.
Free art book, as we determined by using our brilliant deductive logic, i.e. reading this sticker on the front of the box. Chris, how are people going to win this game?
All right, here we go. This is the one you got a sneak peek of earlier, but now we're giving it to you for real. By what title is Damien the main villain in Divinity 2, also known as? And of course, these are all for the 360. No need to designate that. But there's your question for Divinity 2. And now our final question coming up for those Killzone 3 Steel Rain DLC download codes. We're going to send those out to you via email, so you got to be quick on the hop to get this one answered. And then you can get your Killzone 3 on at your earliest convenience.
At your own leisure.
So, for free Steel Rain DLC code, name the ARMS executive who serves as the primary antagonist in Killzone 3. And there you have it, folks. Send us an email to onthespot@gamespot.com, or use the answer trivia module on the side of the page if you want to win all this free good stuff we're giving away to you.
And just as a reminder, anybody who wants to win Shift 2, again, 2 different platforms. State your preferred platform preference in the email where you submit your answer.
We'd hate for you to end up with the wrong one and then be like, oh
no, I don't have a PlayStation.
Resale value is pitifully low. Yeah. Cool.
Anyways,
That's it. We're wrapping up the show.
We're not quite done yet because we have a lot of stuff going on, some pretty cool stuff going on tonight, to be specific. We are going to be doing a live presentation from the Mortal Kombat launch party. Ed Boon is down there, GameSpot is down there, and we're going to get like a special in-depth look at the game. We're going to be checking out some content in that game that you haven't seen yet, a pretty deep dive. If to use the parlance of our times, we're going to talk brass tacks.
You've been wanting to say that the whole show.
I've been wanting to talk.
I'm glad you worked it in.
I'm glad.
That's coming at you live from Hollywood later tonight, folks. So you don't want to miss that. And then, if you don't stay up too late watching that, join me tomorrow morning when I'll be playing Gears of War 3 Beta. That multiplayer with Sophia Tong and Cliff Blazinski.
What? Cliffy B?
Yeah. Yes. Clifford Q. Blazinski.
Tell me what he's like. I've always wanted to know.
I'll get back to you about that. I will hopefully be able to acquit myself reasonably well. And not by reasonably well, I mean not just get chainsaw bayoneted all morning. But we'll be filming that. We'll be broadcasting that live to you tomorrow morning at about 9 p.m. Pacific time. And
9 p.m.?
Yes, 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Thank you, Sean.
Okay, there you go.
9 a.m. live Gears of War beta. And of course, Cliff Blazinski is going to be there with all sorts of good information, and we'll be taking your questions It's going to be awesome.
Cool.
And then next week, we've got another new episode of On the Spot, where super button mashing is going to come to a dramatic conclusion, as you saw teased earlier in the show. GameSpot Sync launching on Monday. We got all sorts of video stuff for you folks, so you know, don't go to sleep tonight. Just keep watching.
Yeah.
Now, for everyone here in the GameSpot studios, I'm Chris Waters, your host.
And I'm Sean McInnes, your loving co-host.
Well, thank you for joining us. He's very loving. Thanks for joining us. It was a lot of fun having you here. Hope you had fun joining us. And we'll see you next week for On the Spot, live from the GameSpot studios. Have a great weekend.